Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for today's QC COVID-19 press briefing. Today is March 2nd, Tuesday, and we will go ahead and get ourselves started. First, we will have joining with us today, Janet Hill, the Chief Operating Officer with the Rock Island County Health Department, and Ed Rivers, the Director of the Scott County Health Department. We are also joined today by Dr. Lewis Katz, Medical Director for the Scott County Health Department. We are going to start off today with our statistics, so please go ahead, Janet.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Today, we have 10 new cases for a total of 12,879. Currently, there are 14 people hospitalized in Rock Island County with this virus, and our death toll stands at 304.
In Scott County today, the Iowa Department of Public Health reports 18,300 positive tests and 210 deaths.
Okay, Janet, we'll listen first for your prepared statements.
Today, we completed our largest COVID-19 vaccination clinic to date. We vaccinated more than 1,000 people at the Tax Slayer Center in Moline, including 200 Rock Island County residents who are 60 and older. They registered through our partnerships with Alternatives based in Moline. Right now, Alternatives is taking calls only from Rock Island County residents who are 60 or older. Those residents who qualify can call toll-free 833-382-1314 from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday. Those who are younger than 60 and need help registering for an online time slot are urged to try to register themselves or contact any human service agency they already have worked with in the past. Once you have a registered time slot through Alternatives or through our online registration link, we ask that you come no more than 15 minutes before your time slot. Once you arrive, please tune your car radio to 89.7 FM. You will be told when people in your time slot can enter the building over this radio frequency. By following these instructions, we will avoid a crush of people entering the building at the same time. We still are in a pandemic, and social and physical distancing are crucial to helping us contain the spread of this virus, along with wearing a mask and washing your hands frequently, of course. We are happy that more than 1,000 people today started to build immunity for this virus. We know that many of you are waiting patiently for your turn. More vaccine, including the Johnson & Johnson vaccine that received emergency use authorization late last week, will be coming into our community, and more opportunities soon will become available. Thank you.
Today, our staff are preparing for a large COVID-19 vaccine clinic that is scheduled for tomorrow at our Sears Clinic location. The 65 and older clinic is by appointment only. Our staff and our community partners will administer all 1,170 doses of Pfizer vaccine we received through an extra allocation from the Iowa Department of Public Health. We spent the majority of the last month instructing the community to expect vaccines with the 65 and older community to be given by our larger health systems, Genesis, Unity Point, Trinity, and Community Healthcare. And this is still the case. We've been providing 1,900 of the 2,250 doses in our allocation to them. These partners continue to contact their patients to schedule appointments. CASI continues to help connect people with no provider or with independent providers to vaccine as well. Tomorrow's clinic is an additional allocation of vaccine for the 65 and older community. We welcome any vaccine we can bring into our county. We know people remain eager to be immunized because the 1,170 slots were mostly filled within the first 20 minutes of the clinic being open. Our performance at the Sears Clinic indicates that it is capable of vaccinating large numbers of people efficiently and safely. I thank our dedicated staff, the Scott County Emergency Management Agency, Scott County Information Technology Department, our healthcare partners, and emergency medical providers for implementing such a great process in our clinic. However, there are still thousands of people eligible in phase 1B who have not been vaccinated. We will continue the work through our weekly vaccine allocations to local pharmacies, and any other vaccine allocations to our community. We also welcome the news this weekend that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine was given an emergency use authorization. The state of Iowa is expecting to receive its first shipment of Johnson & Johnson vaccine this week. They will be targeting the use of this vaccine to tier 2 groups, certain food, agriculture, manufacturing, and distribution workers. 17 Iowa counties have been identified as receiving the first allocations of Johnson & Johnson vaccine. We have not yet heard when it will make its way to Scott County. Dr. Louis Katz, our medical director, continues to dedicate many hours listening to federal emergency use authorization meetings to ensure that he has access to the data and discussions on the safety and efficacy of these vaccine candidates. He's here to provide us information on this new tool in the fight against COVID-19 illness. Dr. Katz.
Thanks, Ed. Yeah, I spent a number of hours over the weekend and last week on FDA and CDC webcasts to be sure that we had the latest information in Scott County. The J&J vaccine is manufactured by their subsidiary Janssen. It works by inserting a gene for the coronavirus into a cold virus called an adenovirus that has been disabled, so it can't grow in human cells. When the vaccine enters muscle cells in the arm, the coronavirus gene is expressed and it makes what's called the spike protein, and that allows the immune system to mount a protective response against SARS-CoV-2 that causes COVID-19. Modifications of this virus vector, this adenovirus, prevent it from growing or from allowing the gene to have any impact on human genes in the recipient. Further, it can't cause COVID-19 by itself. It's made by Janssen, including a very effective Ebola virus vaccine. So we already have data on over 200,000 people previously exposed to this vector system. It has proved remarkably safe. Side effects of the new vaccine, as expected, are dominated by injection site discomfort and mild fatigue or low-grade fever and achiness for a day or two after the shot. Interesting, no severe allergic reactions were reported in the large phase 3 clinical trial that led to the emergency use authorization. That trial included 44,000 individuals in the US, Brazil, and South Africa who were randomly assigned to receive either the vaccine or placebo. Protection was 85% against severe and critical infection. No vaccine recipients required medical interventions, and none died from COVID-19 compared to the placebo group. The efficacy against mild and asymptomatic infection and against transmission remains to be evaluated at this time. Efficacy was seen in all 3 countries, including South Africa, where there is a very difficult viral variant that represents the predominant viral strain. Very good news. It is a single dose vaccine that is stored at refrigerator temperatures, not frozen, for up to 3 months. It's preservative free. All these things make it much easier to use in a wide variety of venues like doctors' offices, mobile vaccine clinics, true drive-through clinics, and remote areas in rural Iowa. One and done with no follow-up management or scheduling needed. So we're very excited to have this tool available. Both the FDA Vaccine and Related Biologics Products Advisory Committee and the CDC's Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices consider the new product to be highly effective, and they explicitly recommend that the populations at risk take whichever vaccine they can get access to as soon as they are eligible and supplies are sufficient. I agree with that judgment. It is impossible, and in fact inappropriate, to try to compare the Johnson & Johnson vaccine to the Moderna and Pfizer that preceded them in the emergency use authorizations. The pivotal studies that led to authorization were carried out in different ways, in different places, using different outcome definitions, and most importantly, at different times in the pandemic while the virus was evolving. Any comparison of the vaccine efficacy or attempts to rank the three vaccines in the media or elsewhere at this time will be misleading to the public. The intent is to have 20 million doses of the new vaccine shipped before the 1st of April. That compares to 100 million or more doses of each of the other two in that interval. So there's going to be a ramp up time. I can take any questions that have arisen.
Okay, this kind of pigtails off of the last thing that you said. When an individual is looking for a vaccine provider, what's the best advice to the public? Again, recognizing there could be multiple vaccines available to them.
Don't bother to try and choose. Take the one you can get first, period.
I will note that in Iowa, Iowa Department of Public Health has the website coronavirus.iowa.gov. You can go there, click the vaccine information button, and then click view vaccine providers, and you can click your county of interest and see the providers that Iowa Department of Public Health is aware have supplies of vaccines or are receiving allocations of vaccine.
A very similar situation is in Illinois. It is at coronavirus.illinois.gov. You can find a vaccination appointment by zip code, by city, by radius. It's important to keep it noted that anyone in Illinois can go to any place in Illinois. However, allocations are based upon a county's population. The National Guard is standing up mass vaccination clinics throughout Illinois in the next week or so, and including at the United Center in Chicago. And any Illinois resident who is eligible can go to those.
There's a question here for you, Dr. Katz. What are your thoughts on if the COVID shot will become an annual shot, much like the flu shot? Could we need another shot or booster this coming fall?
Well, it's really hard to answer that question. It's totally speculation at this point. We have really almost no data out beyond about 3 months about the duration of immunity from any of the three current vaccines. So whether boosters will be needed or not, and at what intervals, I really don't know. My gut says boosters will be required, but whether it's going to be annual or some other number, I really don't know. And of course, the other issue will be how effective the authorized vaccine formulations are against the variants that are arising worldwide and in the United States, and whether additional vaccines will be required to deal with these variant strains. Bottom line is, talk to me during the summer. I may have a better idea.
Janet, there's a question for you for Rock Island County. They're hearing about a new strain of COVID detected in Rock Island County. Can you please comment?
So I think what this reporter is talking about is the B1351 variant that was announced in the middle of February. Can, Tom, is that something you can confirm? Is it what you're talking about? If that's the case, that is the one that Dr. Katz was talking about, is highly infectious. It remains to be the only one in the state of Illinois, and it was found by random testing that IDPH is doing. We did contact tracing for it, and the great news is that this particular person who had it really listened to public health guidance and stayed at home while ill. So we do not know of any other people who were exposed to this client, and this client continues to follow public health guidance. So I think that's the most important message, is that while we are getting new variants into the community, and we will continue to get them, I believe, the public health guidance stays the same. We still have to social and physical distance. We still must wash our hands, and we still must be wearing masks. And that will not change for any time soon until we get to herd immunity, and we don't know what that number is, and we don't know how long it's going to take.
Thank you. I don't see any additional questions. Dr. Katz, do you have any other final thoughts before we sign off for the day?
Well, yeah, I wanted to make the case that we're terribly concerned about what impact viral variants will have on our ability to control the pandemic. This is with particular reference to, as these virus changes, will the effectiveness of the vaccines that we've developed against the wild type or original strains be less? What is unarguably true is that masking and social distancing are not impacted by variants. They will continue to work regardless of how the virus changes. So it's critically important that the media support us in our message to the public not to back off when we're finally making really good progress.
Thank you very much, Dr. Katz, as well as Janet and Ed. I appreciate that. I know the department as well as Ed are thankful for your comments in there as well on his retirement, which he'll speak a little on Thursday. But we will go ahead and conclude for today. The recording of this will be posted on our website as well as our social media pages. So we thank you all for that. And I think there was one last question that came in about if there was a timeline on the J&J vaccine arrival in our area. I do know that Ed mentioned we have not yet heard for Scott County. Janet, did you have any other information for Rock Island County?
No, we have not gotten our allocation yet for next week. We do know that just a few million was going to be available throughout the country. So I would think if we're going to get it, it's going to be very small. But as Dr. Katz mentioned, this is going to be very important going forward.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, everyone, have a great afternoon. Thank you for joining us, and we'll look forward to talking with you again later this week.